Okay, now on to the main bar itself. This is the English oak slabs I told you about. You'll see here we've got a drawing. This is one of the initial drawings concept, which did get changed as you saw before in the video. We now have units on the rear which go over the fireplace, and there's a fridge either side, one at the bottom, one full height. Mainly concentrating on the oak work on this video. Unfortunately, a couple of bits of the video were lost, some of the resin work, but you do get to see it at the end anyway. So here's the final concept for the bar. You can see on the rear there's going to be stainless steel units, that little section at the top's for the lighting, which is going to be recessed. There's a steel subframe being made. My son Will's making that, and he can see the profile of how it's going to be put together. I often get asked, because I've got a sliding table saw, why I still use my track saw. Sometimes it's just because of the weight of the material, moving it around. Much easier just to pick the track up and move it. You can see here this is mega cupped at the back. Putting this on a panel saw could be really dangerous as it drops down, pinches. So this is the Manor Wood Designs router system. I do actually sell these, but only to the UK unfortunately. There is a contact form if you wanted to fill in. Just need to know the slab size, max slab size that is, and I can do you a quote. As always with this project, the preparation is key. The more time you spend prepping, the easier it is down the line when you do your finishing and your resin and stuff. I'm just debarking it here and just keying it ready for the resin, which is going to be a small grey slither on the front edge. Unfortunately, this part of the resin pour was lost, the video footage, but you do get to see the finished bar and the main panels at the end, which are wonderful. We've got all the footage for that coming in the next video. So I made an MDF template for the end curve return on the bar. I'm doing a first cut because it's quite a deep cut, so the first cut goes off the template, and you can remove the template and use the bearing on the section you've already cut. In case you've not seen it before, this is the Domino XL breakdown joints. I've got lots of videos if you look back on them. So we're going to attach the bar. Everything is going to be modular. Decided not for the waterfall edges. Even the side panels of this solid oak, it is so heavy. We're going to take the whole bit and we're going to build it on site. So you can see here, Will's fabricated the two frames. There is going to be no internal support, and the main problem is the racking. This has to be completely open on the back because they're going to install stainless steel units for the staff to prepare for drinks on and storage and stuff. So I come up with the idea of having two steel boxes or oblongs if you like. We've inserted a C-channel all the way along, rebaited that in, and then that will lock it all together and it should stop all racking or any kind of movement. So I'm using this battery blower because we don't have any compressed air at the moment in the shop. Since the fire, we lost all the air lines, so pretty handy. We worked on all of this upside down for the total time until it never went the right way up until just before we were ready to deliver it, because it was so heavy and awkward, because there just seemed to be no way to easily put it together and take it apart. Even these end panels, you can only just lift just the upright on your own. Okay, so it's going to be rebaited in there, and we've got the whole sandwich of ply lighting system and then the resin panel on the front. The bar is just over 5 meters long in total, pretty massive. Then the next step is to carry it all over to the other workshop so I can start the polishing and finishing over there. I'm actually using like a scraper here. It's really good. It's easier to use than a card scraper, and I'm just trying to get the saw marks out with not too much sanding, because when I get to the curve it's really hard to sand that curve. So I found the scraper is really good, and I just use a very fine grit just to get rid of any other little marks right near the end. We're actually going to be bolting the side panels to the steel frame. So these, more than anything, are locators, and they're going to pull the joint nice and tight. So it's hard to appreciate, but these panels are absolutely epic. They're so heavy. As I said, I'm just locating with the Festool breakdown joint, and then the main support is actually going to be the subframe, which is going to stop any racking and make it really rigid. You can see how these lift tables just transform a workshop. Mainly me working on my own, although this project had a lot of Will, but he was away fabricating today. So on my own I was able to assemble this for the first time. Again, as I said, upside down, because I just can't work out how to flip it. It's going to be quite complicated. You will see that obviously at the end when we do a test fit, but this seemed to work really well. So one of my lift tables was destroyed by the fire. This is the one that survived, my oldest one, and you will notice if you look, I've got a new one which is a 500S. Whilst working on the really big walnut table, I couldn't actually get my leg under to pump the thing up and down very easily. It was quite difficult, plus the tables weighed so much. The 500S is more expensive, but it's a much bigger machine, bigger table, and it has the up and down at the edge. I'm going to do a video on it later in the year. So again, unfortunately I didn't video it, but this is like a little wooden frame. I made this frame so that I could take the frame out to the yard, show the clients and frame the pieces that they were going to have. I'll show you a picture. We did this over a year ago, this quote, and I sent them pictures of some lovely U slabs. And then they eventually, once the order went ahead, they come down. We used this frame, we put it over the slabs, marked it, and I knew exactly what they wanted for their two front panels. And I've just used this as a rough template to put my molded together. What has been quite interesting on this project was working with Will. I really brought him on board and he actually helped with the joinery as well and machining and stuff like that. And I think going forward, early mid next year, he's going to be working 2 days a week with me at Manor Wood. So that's really going to speed things up. I mean, he's great to work with, and even though he's not, that's not his first passion, I think he quite likes not getting splattered with welds and being black and dirty. So it just massively increased productivity. We were doing this flat out to get this ready on time after the disaster, and I had to delay 6 weeks, and we couldn't obviously be late, so we really did go for it on this. Right, do you want to do the resin? Yeah, yeah, just pour it on the white and mix it up. Now, the only way I could guarantee to get these two panels to match was to have two pour tables going. So this here is my new lift table, which we've put a flat sheet of ply on and made it into a second pour table. So we're going to do two panels at once, and we're going to keep mixing the resin and pouring it in bit by bit, because it's really, really hard to get it to match, especially with a metallic. And then if you're going to put your kind of like a brush or a stick in to to excite the metallics and bring them to the top, you're going to have to do two panels at the same time. So that's what we're doing here, two pours at once. So we are just coming out of this world shortage of resin. Certainly glass cast was not available, or nearly no resin. So I am mixing this part by part and just topping it off when needed. I am not over pouring by lots and then machining off, because there just isn't the resin around, so I didn't want to waste any. Okay, that's it for part 2. As always, thanks so much for all your support and hanging in there with me. The final part's going to be making a bespoke shelf system and panel for the fireplace, which is actually quite a lot of fun, and finally installing all this on site, and you get to see me and Will there on one of the open evenings. Thanks again. See ya. Bye. On this side? Yeah, put it next to that bucket. Oh, yeah, I'll do it.